I love boasting and am a typical keyboard warrior. My channel often makes early predictions, offering direct conclusions on controversial topics. For example, at the end of last year, I predicted that India's 2025 manned space mission would be impossible and would face further delays. I also said that India would repeatedly face setbacks in detectable space missions, paying the price for past boasts. As expected, India failed 2 satellite launches this year, and its manned space mission was postponed to 2027. Before the India and Pakistan conflict, I predicted that Pakistan would dominate India and that India would not dare engage in full-scale war with Pakistan. After Israel's airstrike on Iran, I predicted that Iran would be heavily defeated by Israel, but the US would be unlikely to overthrow the Iranian regime. If you follow my channel or review my past videos, you will notice my predictions are highly accurate, reaching 100% so far. After the US restricted EDA software exports to China earlier, I clearly stated that this move was extremely foolish, severely underestimating China's ability to respond, and would lead China to refuse concessions on rare earth restrictions. China's rare earth weapon can only be used once, and if it cannot significantly harm the US or secure substantial benefits, China will not easily lift it. Trump's tactics of extorting smaller nations are useless against China. This is not only because of China's strong comprehensive national strength, but also because Trump lacks any credibility, much like an American version of Modi. With such a person, peaceful coexistence is meaningless. The best approach is to take a sufficiently strong stick, hit him hard, and keep hitting him. Yes, treat them the way you would treat stray dogs. My repeated accurate predictions are not due to my high skill, but because the competence of current political figures is increasingly low and clownish. They no longer bother deceiving those with independent thinking, knowing that most ordinary people are easily fooled by casually crafted lies. After these crude tactics repeatedly succeed, they start believing their own lies. For example, Trump constantly promotes MAGA, claiming to compete with China in manufacturing and save jobs in the Rust Belt. Yet, he chooses to cut taxes for the wealthy, impose heavy tariffs on global imports, and make ordinary people and small businesses bear unaffordable costs, allowing large corporations to expand unchecked. Trump wants to race China to the moon and completely outpace China in AI. But he bans Chinese students from studying in the US, persecutes Chinese scientists working for the US, and forces them to return to China. He is completely unaware that his MAGA supporters generally fail at math, science, and chemistry, needing calculators for addition and subtraction within 200. None of this matters, though. The US does not need a long-term strategy. It only needs to maintain support rates, allowing Trump to use power to serve his family businesses, core advisors, and financial backers. China's manufacturing surpasses the combined output of the US and Western nations. China's workforce is not only vast and cost-effective, but also of higher quality than Western counterparts. Today's China no longer just imitates Western products. Its originality is growing significantly. For instance, DJI's drones and Unitree's robots are world-leading products. After Chinese companies like DJI and Insta360 entered the action camera market, the once legendary GoPro is on the brink of bankruptcy. American companies are not only losing in price wars, but also struggling with technological innovation. The US now holds advantages in very few areas, mainly high-end chips and AI maintained by Silicon Valley tech giants. Honestly, the only thing that can still trouble China is high-end chips. However, as China's independent chip technology advances, the US chip card is losing its power. China's 7nm process has reached mature mass production, and chips like the Kirin X90 have achieved performance equivalent to TSMC's early 5nm chips. In the mature chip market, China already holds 1/3 of the share and will soon reach 40% or even over half. Huawei's Cloud Matrix 384 AI computing cluster, with its larger chip scale and better communication technology, has surpassed NVIDIA's AI computing cluster in absolute performance. Although it still lags in energy efficiency, China, as the world's top electricity producer, is not overly concerned about this cost. In the EDA field, domestic software, including Huawei's self-developed software, can already replace most functions of imported software. The imported EDA software already purchased can still be used even if sales are halted, providing ample buffer time for domestic development. In other words, the U.S. ban on EDA cannot stop China's chip industry progress. Instead, it creates a vast market for domestic EDA manufacturers. Trump's even dumber move was to ease up on China and resume EDA supplies to counter rare earth pressures. Such flip-flopping puts Western companies complying with U.S. sanctions in an awkward position. Those who comply most actively will lose market share. Chinese companies no longer trust the U.S. government. They will continue using imported EDA software, but domestic substitution will undoubtedly become a priority for chip design firms. In effect, Trump's capriciousness has served as a hardcore advertisement for China's domestic EDA software vendors. I often compare Trump to America's Modi in my videos. Both love to boast and are repeatedly slapped by reality. The difference is that India is genuinely weak, getting slapped by both China and Pakistan. The U.S., with its strong national power, can only be slapped by China. However, there are some differences between the two. Modi is purely bad, but not foolish. He knows India is a backward country with little strength. His foolish actions are all for votes. Whether he wins or not, as long as he declares victory in a speech, Indians will believe him. Modi is not Hindu or Brahmin by origin. He speaks Hindi and promotes Hindu extremism solely for power. He knows the niche Gujarati language cannot support his political ambitions. He also understands that English cannot stir religious emotions like Hindi can. So, as a political leader, he wears a skirt to showcase Indian identity, speaking Hindi, which over half the country cannot understand, all for votes. But Trump is not only bad, he is genuinely a bit foolish. He truly believes the U.S. can win a tariff war against every country. He also believes that without foreign immigrants, his fans, who cannot even handle basic arithmetic, can make America great again. Trump's inner belief is in white supremacy. His disdain and contempt for other ethnic groups are almost entirely open. In thousands of years of human civilization, the West led the world for only a few hundred years. Blonde, blue-eyed white people did not become world rulers through cultural influence, but through warships, cannons, and genocide, occupying vast lands like North America and Australia. Yet Trump claims this is MAGA's homeland, barring new immigrants. As if God did not grant America to those who share its values, but to those who arrived first. If so, shouldn't the U.S. president be a Native American? Shouldn't the Trump family be deported back to Europe? The U.S. is experiencing some decline, an inevitable fate for any empire. But the U.S. remains great. If Trump, this cancerous tumor, is removed and the quality of the math-failing MAGA crowd is improved, it could be even greater. The U.S. does not need a man who bought his college degree, leading a group of high school dropouts, to make it great again.